Okay, so let's take a look at how we can find unit rates. What are they? How do we find them? What do we use them for? So first off, a unit rate, it's pretty much the same thing as like an average rate. Think about it miles per hour. How fast are you going per hour? And the cool thing is that the denominator is always going to be a 1. So if we took a look at a couple of these, like 6 apples for $1, it's the denominator being a 1 down here. It's still a rate. It's basically a ratio with different labels on there, but the bottom number is always going to be a 1. And so like 18 pounds over 1 feet, it's still a rate, but the bottom number, the denominator, is a 1. And then 2.75 miles in 1 minute. Okay, so that's another example of a unit rate. So how do we find the unit rate? You take the top number of a rate and you divide it by the bottom number. So here's a rate, 16 miles, 2 minutes. So you take the top number, 16, and divide it by the bottom number, which is 2, and you get 8. And just like we've taught you before, hey, we're making a rate, which is the same thing as a ratio, basically, with some fancy labels. So you've got to make it 2 numbers, put a 1 under it, and then don't forget to label it. Miles is on top, minutes is on bottom. So we can take any rate and we can make it into a unit rate by taking the top number and dividing it by the bottom. Just again, make sure that you slap these labels on here. Okay. Now, if we were looking at a table of information, it says how to get a unit rate of money to cupcakes. Well, it tells us it wants money on top into cupcakes, and we know we should stay away from the 0, 0. Same thing as if we were building a rate, and that's what we have to do, build a rate first. So let's just use the 1050 and 3. They want money on top, so we'll put the 1050 on top and put the 3 cupcakes on bottom. Again, you would take the top number, 1050, and divide it by the bottom number, 3. And this is what gets on your calculator, 3.5. So then put a 1 under it, and don't forget to label. Now, since it's money on top, that 3.5 would become 350, and that's 1 cupcake on the bottom. And you can see how this unit rate is just much more usable, $3.50 for 1 cupcake. That's a lot easier than saying $10.50 for 3 cupcakes. That's why we like unit rates. If we wanted to find a unit rate from a passage of information given, it's very, very similar. Whoops, open that one up. Here we go. Barry read 53 pages in 37 minutes. Find the unit rate of pages 2 minutes. So again, they're going to tell you what they want. Okay, so you follow what the question wants and you do that, and you go build a regular rate. In this case, it'll be 53 pages because they wanted that first, 37 minutes on the bottom. Same thing we've done before. You take the top, divide it by the bottom. And this is what comes up on your calculator. And if they don't tell you to round, you probably don't need to round. But in this case, it's saying round to the nearest tenth. So you find your 10th spot. That's the 4. And you look at the number behind it. And in this case, that would mean we keep it as a 4. And now we're ready to make this into a unit rate by just putting a 1 under it. And don't forget to label. There you go. Basically, Barry's reading about 1.4 pages for 1 minute. This unit rate gives us a lot better information than, the 53 pages in 37 minutes. That's why we like unit rates. It just gives us a lot more power to understand what's going on in the scenario, and that's how you do it. You find the rate, top number divided by the bottom number, and presto, you've got a unit rate.